Hi, welcome back to the show. Today we are here to talk about property and finance. And we have two beautiful ladies here from Lighthouse Finance. Why don't we start with introduction of who you are?
Sure. So I'm Jess and I'm a financial advisor, holistic financial advisor at Lighthouse. We focus on planning financially for your whole situation, not just focusing on property or shares, but trying to look at everything all in. So that's me.
And I'm Laura, mortgage advisor at Lighthouse. We deal with people buying investments, they're owner occupied, restructuring existing debts, refinancing, refixing.
All very exciting stuff. I've got a microphone. We are upgrading from last year. All right. So today the three of us are going to have a look at how we should manage cash flow and set up our finances for property investing. So I think, Laura, you will take the lead on this one.
I guess this is quite dependent on your own situation and where you're at already in terms of do you already own investment properties? The main things the bank is looking for is your ability to service more debt. So they'll be looking at how much debt you already have, the rental incomes, your employment incomes, and then kind of just deciding how much debt we can service on top of the existing debt. You want to be putting yourself in the best light when you're presenting your application to the bank. So things like having good account conduct. So we don't want to see lots of living in overdrafts and credit cards, good account conduct, good day-to-day living expenses and what have you. And then they're going to look at how you're managing your existing debt. So are you paying them down well? Is there any missed mortgage payments? What kind of structures you already have? A lot of that will come down to as well, the equity that you have available. So if you're looking to buy your first or next investment property, we're 9 times out of 10 going to be using equity that you've got in your existing portfolio to be able to buy your next property. So that might come down to getting registered valuations carried out on your existing portfolio to make sure that we're kind of maximising the values that we've got available. Typically not something you need to do ahead of applying for the lending. We can do that as a condition of the loan. So we put your application together on the assumption that your existing property's value at XYZ. This is how much equity you'd have available to use for your next property.
Cool. So I think years ago, I got some advice from somebody saying I should cut up my credit card. How do you feel about that? I guess that's more question for Jess or Laura.
From my perspective, when we're looking at applications, if you, so a bank will take a percentage of the credit card limit into account. So you might have a $20,000 credit card, but you don't owe anything on it. They're going to take normally about 3% of that 20,000 limit because you can then go out and spend that 20,000. But that can have quite a significant impact on the amount of debt that you can service.
Why is that?
Because if you went out and spent $20,000, you've got to make a minimum repayment on that credit card, and that eats into the net cash funds that you've got that could be going towards the mortgage repayment.
Right.
So you don't have to go and cut up your credit cards and pay them off ahead of doing the mortgage application. Again, we'll look at what can you borrow with and without this credit card, and if it's not enough, if keeping that credit card affects you to the point that it could make or break the application, we condition for that to be closed. So again, get an approval from the bank and then close the credit card after we've got the approval from the bank.
I have thoughts on credit cards.
Let's go.
I would like everybody to cut their credit cards up personally. And this is not from a lending perspective like Laura's facts about the lending for sure, but I think if we're coming at it from a holistic perspective, credit cards, people like them because of the air points or whatever points they get, right, which I understand, but also these things are there to make money off you. And so for every one person that manages it well, there's 10 who don't, because credit card, they're making money on this stuff. It's the house always wins type thing. I would much prefer people just have debit cards. They have an account that's for their day-to-day spending. That's super clear then, and you're not always chasing your tail. How much have I spent? How much do I need to repay? It can get really murky and really hard to keep a track of. So it's just good habits, I think, and I just don't think there's a need for it.
You're really speaking to my soul there.